Let's go. Okay, I'm Carol Morrison, NLP practitioner. Stella is the client and Hayley is the observer today. This is session 23 and this is the emotional or the motion obliterator. Stella, is it alright with your unconscious mind to release a negative emotion today and for you to have conscious awareness of it?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the emotion that you'd like to release today?
I would like to release still some feelings of pain that I have when I have a hard time thinking of myself as a child, especially like around age of 7, because like 6, 7. I just kind of when I think about it, I just get very emotional. There's lots of pain there still that I just can let go of it, really.
Okay. Now go ahead and get in touch with that emotion. Light it up in your neurology. And I'd like you to go on a journey of consciousness. Trace it back. Allow your unconscious to be the guide as you go back to the very first event. The first time it was ever an issue for you. You may not know consciously the content of that event, but that doesn't matter. What does matter is that you trust your unconscious to take you right back to that very first event of that negative emotion, which when you disconnect it there will cause it to disappear for you forever as an issue in your life. And then find yourself in a place of safety before that event, before the very first event, or any events that led to it. And as you're there in the place of safety before the very first event right now, it's time to rise above it, keeping your spirit high. Rise all the way up into the air, towards the heavens and even higher than that. Rise right above the stream of time, keeping your spirit high, and find yourself in the learning position directly above the event. Notice that the event looks so tiny and insignificant down below. Do you notice that now, Stella? How tiny and insignificant the event is now below? Now, as you're in the learning position, now it is time to preserve the learnings. What are the positive learnings for yourself and for the future when you preserve those learnings now will allow you to release the emotion easily and effortlessly? Allow those learnings to come to you now. Those learnings which will allow this whole set of circumstances to serve a far grander purpose in your life. The purpose it was meant to serve. As you get those learnings, can you share them with me? What are the positive learnings from the event that serve a greater purpose in your life?
Um, I don't know. The thing that's on my mind is that I that I should be stronger. That I shouldn't allow people to crush me down. Um, I don't know if that's but yeah, it's like I that I should be stronger. Now this should doesn't sound too good. Um, let me see. What other learning? I don't know. I was just kind of very disappointed back then.
So what are the positive learnings that you can bring forward into the future from those events?
Well, the positive learning, it's really that, I can always rise back no matter what happens, you know?
Okay, good. Now I want you to take those positive learnings for yourself and the future. I want you to catalogue them in the unconscious level in a special place that you reserve for all such learnings in such a way that they can change the future for you in a powerful and positive way. And now, if those learnings had a colour, what colour would they be?
Kind of purple.
Good. Now imagine purple filling up your body, saturating every cell of your body. Imagine if they made a sound. What sound would they make?
I don't know.
Okay. Are there any feelings that come from the colour purple that will be going through your body?
Sorry?
Are there any feelings that come from the colour purple going through your body and giving you the strength and the ability to bounce back?
Mm, it is just like kind of, intensely cleansing feeling.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now I want you to move back into the release position in relation to this event so that you are at least 1 hour before this event ever occurred or any of the events that led to this event, and you're way up in the air looking down on it, so it's down below you and in front of you. And as you're looking down on the event now in the release position, the question is now, where did that emotion go? Did it disappear?
Well, I still have like, burning in my cheeks, which came up when I was associating into it. So um,
Okay. So that's right, it did. Very good. Hear the voices deep within you, congratulating you. Are you feeling, what is the strength of the feeling now when you look above that situation or look down into the situation?
Okay, it's getting better now.
Okay. Make sure you're really in the release position. You're at least 1 hour prior to the event, above the time stream and looking down on the event. So that's it down below you and in front of you. And now get higher up and further back. Get as high up and as far back as you need to let it go. And now, where has the emotion gone? Has it disappeared? Yeah, that's right, it has. Now go right down inside the event so that you're inside it, looking through your own eyes, and tell me, is the emotion there or has it disappeared now?
It is flat. Yeah.
Okay, we head right back up above the stream of time and back into the release position. Take the colour and the feelings and splash them forward along the whole stream of time, saturating it in the colour and sound of the learnings. Then come all the way back until now, but only as quickly as you can release all of that emotion in the stream of time and replace it with the colour and the sound of the new learnings and the emotions of the new learnings, such as they change your behaviour without even your conscious thought. And where is the emotion now? It's back, that's right. Now go down inside the event so that you're inside it. Looking through your own eyes and tell me, is the emotion there or has it disappeared now? Clearly you're not before the very first event, the very first one. So I'd like to ask your unconsciousness now to take you zooming rapidly and unconsciously all the way back to the past, to the very first event, which when you disconnect it will be, it there will allow you to disappear for you forever as an issue in your life, and find yourself automatically in this release position in relationship to the earlier event, so that you're at least 1 hour before this event or any of the events that led you to it, and you're looking down on it, down below you, in front of you, and in this position preserve any additional learnings. What additional learnings have you gained from this event?
That I was that I have placed how do I say it, in a way that I have placed far too much responsibility on myself for how things went, or I have just I've taken too much, and nobody actually has asked me to do that as such. You know what I mean? It was my own
So what are the positive learnings that you can take from that situation? That serve a greater purpose in your life now?
Mm, how do I put this into words? Um, um, I don't know how to put this into words.
The positive learnings.
But the positive learning is that I don't need to accommodate other people if I feel I don't want to.
That's right, it has. Now go right down inside the event so that you're inside it, looking through your own eyes, and tell me, is the emotion there or has it disappeared now?
Goodness. Um, I still get this burning in my cheeks.
Okay.
A little bit, but it's going away, but there is still some left.
Okay, so clearly you're not before the very first event,
Okay.
very first one. So I'd like to ask your unconscious now to take you zooming rapidly and unconsciously all into the past, into the very first event, which when you disconnect it, there will allow it to appear or disappear for you forever as an issue in your life, and find yourself automatically in the release position in relationship to this earlier event, so that you are at least one before this event or any of the events that led you to it, and you're looking down on it, and it's down below you and in front of you, and in this position preserve any additional learnings. And what additional learnings have you gained from this event? An hour before the very first event.
That I'm okay.
Okay, that's right, it has. Now go right down inside that event so that you're inside it, looking through your own eyes, and tell me, is that emotion there or has it disappeared now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay, great. Rise back up above the stream of time and back into release position, and take the colour and the emotions of the learnings and splash them forward along the whole stream of time, saturating it in the colour and the sound of the learnings. Then come all the way back until now, but only as quickly as you can release all of that emotion in the stream of time, and replace it with the colour and the new emotions of the learnings, so that they change your behaviour without even your conscious thought. Now, I want you to stop and think of any event upon which you used to feel that old negative emotion and notice, is the emotion there or is it flat now?
Um, it's neutral.
Neutral. So I want you to step out to some infinite time in the future where in the past you might have felt that old emotion in an unwarranted or unnecessary place and notice what happens for you now.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Right. Can you smell the popcorn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that was a really tough one. That was a really big one.
Yeah, and Jesus, I feel like oh, pulling us down. Oh my God.
Going, I don't know what I'm going to do here because it even haven't skipped the script C. It wasn't dissolving at all for you.
It was very funny because when I actually moved really really high, like I couldn't see anything anymore, you know. Actually, the feeling in the burning that I had here actually was went down completely, you know.
Mm-hmm. And the learnings as well. The learnings were very, you were still in there. There was a lot of emotion and it was like you couldn't see the learnings because it was like you were too deep.
Is being recorded.
Okay.
My name's Hedy Greenwood. This is session 20, the Strategy Scrambler, and my client is Carol. Hello, Carol.
Hello, Katie.
Hi. How have you been today?
Great, thank you.
Good. Oh, I didn't really want you to sit down there. That's the trance chair. But as you're there, don't worry, we'll get started straight away. Are you okay to have your subconscious interfered with today, but know about it consciously?
Yes.
Good.
Work away.
Okay, well, we'll go forward then. So what was it you wanted to discuss today?
Well, I can be quite hungry for knowledge, and when I get interested in the subject, I tend to read, and then it's like the vessel gets full, and I can't do any more, and it's like my brain turns to mush, and it takes maybe weeks or maybe a few months for me to get back to the stage that I'm ready to absorb information again, and I just don't know why.
Okay, so how is that a problem for you now? How is that impacting?
Well, it impacts in all aspects of life. It impacts in work because the industry is quite large and you need to have that hunger for knowledge. You need to have a good business acumen, and there's laws changing all the time and procedures, and it's well within your interest as an employee to be up on those. If you're not, you're just you're just turning up for work every day. So I would like to be in. I'd like to be nice and clear that I could just absorb all the information and not take a block at any stage, because I think that's what it is, a wee block.
Okay. And so to get your problem into a nutshell, you're saying basically that you can absorb a lot of information at given times, but somewhere along the line it kind of creates a block and it stops you taking in more. Is that the problem? And you want to do what instead? What would you like to be doing instead?
Things that are mindless. I wouldn't read anything, and If I was watching TV, it would have to be a mindless TV program, not a documentary or anything. It's like my brain goes into holiday mode and goes, I'm not doing anything else, and that's it.
Okay, but if you were able to do what you wanted to do, what would that be? It would be to be able to take it in continually, would it? And
It would, yes.
to not forget what you take, what you're absorbing?
Yes, I'd love that.
Okay, okay. So, how do you do that then? How do you manage to forget?
It's not that I forget what I've taken in. I don't forget it. I just don't take on anything else. It's like I may read 3 or 4 books one after another at a time, and I will absorb the knowledge from the books, but I just won't be interested to read anything else or to learn anything else for a period of time. It's almost like a period of time that I need to process what I've done already without taking on any more. But as the way the human brain works, in theory it shouldn't really work like that. Obviously it's something to do with me, to stop me from reading more and taking in more information when I would like to.
And you would like to take on more information?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So. Tricky. Okay, so to sum up the problem, you get to a point where you're sufficiently full, or you're not sufficiently full, but your mind or your brain tells you that there's enough there to be going on with, and it doesn't want to take on anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think it reaches that point? At what point is the decision made that there is no more that can be taken on?
I think it could be to do with tiredness. It's like a weariness that I guess that's what it feels like, a weariness.
You think there's more to this problem, or do you think that is just a normal behaviour?
I don't know. All I know is that I take in so much information and I get tired and I need time out.
Okay. Okay, and then you need to go and do something mindless, yes? Just to allow your mind to settle and clear the space for the new information.
Yeah.
At what point do you know it's time to take on new information?
It's when I start to be interested in things again.
Okay. And what spurs that? What's the trigger for that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Time seems to do it. If I have a period of time that, feel that there's... I don't know.
Okay, for instance, would you, with this problem, say that, okay, X amount of time has gone by, so it's time for me to be interested in something, or would you have an urge to go and find something of interest?
It would be an urge.
So it's not time sensitive, it's an interest sensitive
I don't
problem.
know. I don't know. I think maybe when the period of time passes, I'm just ready to take on more. I'm not sure.
Okay, so all right, think about when you reach the point that you can't absorb anymore and you need to go into your mindless state. What's the first thing that you do at that point that lets you know it's time to stop? Do you get a picture in your mind? Do you get a feeling? Do you hear things? What is it that triggers it?
The trigger is I stop taking in the information, and the likelihood of me falling asleep is quite high. And then I can't remember how far I got, before I fell asleep.
Okay. So, can you remember a time when this happened? Have you got a specific time that you can recall it happening?
It happens all the time, especially when I'm studying, if I'm taking on too much, it'll happen all the time.
Okay, but can you remember a specific time?
Um, Probably with doing this and doing the B course at the same time. Um, I'm sorry, can you hear her crying in the background?
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay. It's just, I think I had to take in so much information from the two different courses. I'm going to have to go and sort her out because she's doing my head in. I'm really sorry about this. It'll be 2 seconds, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll pause it. Hold on a sec. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Resume. Okay, my name's Hedy. I'm the NLP coach for this session. It's session 20, Strategy Scrambler, and my client is Carol. Hello, Carol.
Hello, Hedy.
How are you?
I'm grand. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Okay, so you've sat down, you found the seat. I wasn't expecting you to jump in there so quickly, but never mind, we'll work with it from there. Are you okay for your subconscious mind to make this change and know about it consciously?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what problem did you want to discuss today?
I talk too much.
Don't we all? Okay. And how's that a problem for you?
Well, there's times in work that it would be better for me if I kept my mouth shut. So I would love to have the discipline just to shut up and not say anything, you know, and just go back to my desk and do my work and you know, not give in to the temptation of either giving my opinion or having a chat. I would love that.
It's not so bad having an opinion. It's a good thing to do. But so it's obviously getting in the way of things at the moment, is it? You talking too much?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. And what sort of things sort of encourage you to talk too much?
I think my knowledge of people and situations that I end up knowing too much at times, and I would love to just retain that information and not have to share it.
Okay. So it's becoming dangerous, this talking too much, is it?
Yes.
Okay.
And I do feel it's going to affect my career in my job because, you know, I really do. Because, you know, there's my boss would ask my opinion about a lot of things. He does ask my opinion, but I have to learn that he doesn't necessarily want it.
Yes, okay.
You know, and I would love to be able to recognise when he's, you know, asking my opinion because he wants some sort of affirmation, and I need to find the balance of telling him something without being so honest and direct. You know.
So, do you recall a time when this happened?
Yeah, I recall lots.
So can you get back to a specific time now?
Yeah, the last brilliant one was he thinks a lot of one of the guys that works in our company, but my boss travels a lot, so he doesn't have to work with him. He doesn't really know him. And my experience of working with this guy is he would lie himself stupid out of situations. He changes paperwork to cover his backside. I just had no respect for him at all. And my boss wanted to promote him. And he wanted to promote him by giving him part of my job as his role, so he could, you know, give him a pay rise and a new title. And I told my boss what he was like, but my boss didn't listen to me, and now the guy totally discredits my boss in meetings, and, you know, and I just don't know what to do about it. I would have been better off just not saying anything, because he thinks I'm the worst in the world, and I'm thinking bad of somebody, but I'm not. I'm only going by my experience of that person, and I didn't feel that they fitted the role. They would have been better advertising the job either internally or externally and getting somebody else to do it, because the guy is not capable.
Okay, so your talking is honesty based, and you can't seem to stop that.
Yeah.
So you need really to find a way of saying to yourself, okay, there's certain things I need to say and there's certain things that I need to keep to myself.
Yes. And I
Okay.
have no distinction between the two.
Okay. So your problem in a nutshell is not being able to decide what needs to be said and what doesn't need to be said,
Yeah.
and finding a way of discerning between the two. Yes.
Yes, because I feel
Making
that I'm diluting the strength of what actually matters because of too much talking.
Okay. So, what's the first thing that you do when you start to talk too much? Do you form a picture in your mind? Do you get a feeling in your body? Do you hear certain things? What triggers that?
It's more like an energy. It's more, and it's almost like I know what the best situation is, and that could be taken as arrogance as well. And I understand that, but it is pure energy and pure opinion. So.
So it sounds like it's a feeling in your body. Where do you feel that feeling?
I feel it around. I feel it mostly around the back of my neck and my shoulders.
Okay, and how strong is that feeling?
It doesn't feel very strong. It's more like an energy that I would feel.
And is it warm or hot?
Warm. And it goes up through my head. Sorry, Katie.
Is there any intensity attached to it?
There would be, yes. There would be.
Okay. So if you can remember a precise time that this happened recently, can you take yourself back into that?
Yes.
Into that feeling and express it verbally to me, how you're feeling?
I feel like a strength, and I feel like a truth. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with what I'm doing, but I do know, as a person, but I know career-wise, it's not smart. And I really need to be able to distinguish that. So there is an intensity to it, and there is a heat to it, and I just can't stop myself.
Okay. All right. So if you were to rewind that movie, right to the beginning of that moment, because I'm assuming at some point in your life you didn't used to do this.
I don't think I did. No, I think I would have.
Or do you think you've always done it?
I'm not sure. I would have always been quite strong as a character, but I don't know how far I would have went. I don't remember.
Okay. So can we assume that maybe as a child you weren't likely to get yourself into problems with this?
Actually, yes. In primary school, I used to get myself into lots of problems with this. Yeah.
Okay.
Time in the corridor, and all the rest of it.
Okay. So it's going to be hard for you to get back to a point then where this wasn't really a problem. Because it would have been nice to have had a starting point where we could try and remember what triggered it in the very first place, and what how you get to that point. Is there a build up to this, or is it literally the problem is in front of you and you react to it? Or the episode that you're speaking about appears and you just speak, or do you take some time out to consider and then you go and speak? Do you plan how you're going to do
Well,
this?
a lot of the situations would be, through experience. Like what I was saying about the guy in work. I mean, I've had to work with him day in, day out, and it's very hard to get to the bottom of any problems when there's somebody who doesn't know even how to lie straight in bed. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't know the truth if it hit him up the face. So obviously when I am asked about this one particular person, I'm going to be like, no, don't go there.
Okay, but so basically you're watching this guy, you're absorbing and gathering information on him really, and then later on when the opportunity comes you utilise that information, is that right?
That sounds terrible.
But is that the strategy, or would
I
you
don't think I
say?
have a strategy. Um, I think there's a place for everybody and there's a role for everybody. So, but I think that the person in the role has to be able to live up and be able to do the job instead of having to babysit somebody.
Okay.
Really, you shouldn't have to babysit somebody in the workplace.
No, no. Okay. So, I need to know what the very first thing is that makes you do it. Then, when your boss comes to you and says to you, "Okay, Joe Blogs over there. This is what I want to do with him." What's the first thing you do? What's the first thing you think of? What's the first action you take? Do you try to hold back, or do you just go for it? Or
Well, it depends. I mean, it's a case of because there was a certain role he wanted him to fulfill, I knew the guy wasn't capable of it. So my my reaction, it was more a reaction, would be, he's not he's not the person that you need to do that job. Which I don't
okay, but I mean,
I don't.
is this the only instance, or is this generally in your life? Because it's feeling quite focused on this one person at the moment. Is it a problem generally, or is it a problem with this guy?
I don't think it's a problem in general, because I mean, we've got new people in the company and we've been able to move them through the company, but they've suited the role and they're really good at it, and I have supported them 100% and trained them and been there for them at the other end of the phone. But I think, in a workplace, you, it's very difficult because you're given your honest opinion, and this guy has got the role and he can't do the job. So, and then I'm left clearing up after him, and taking me away from my job, and other people as well, they're doing the same in their departments because he can't do the
Okay, so are
job.
you finding that you feel angry first? Do you feel resentful? What's the feeling that comes to the fore that makes you feel a need to illuminate your boss as to the failings of this guy?
Basically,
Is it just injustice, or is it unfairness? Is it resentment? What leads to you speaking?
well, he asked me for my opinion and I give it to him. So I honestly felt there was other people within the department that would have been 10 million times better at doing the job than him. But the two girls that I was thinking about, were away on maternity leave, and I felt that they missed out within a matter of a month of this role because they were off maternity leave, and they've given it an absolute numpty, and they're not going to be able to demote him. That's it. He's in.
Okay.
So
Okay. So
maybe it is injustice.
do you every time you're asked about this guy, do you do the same thing, or does it differ? Do you forget to do it sometimes?
No, I definitely don't do the same thing. Definitely not.
So you don't react in the same way every time.
No, it just depends on what the question is and the situation. That's the main thing.
Okay, so you're not really that good at this then.
I am quite good at it.
Because you forget. But you forget sometimes?
It's not forgetting. It's a case of if my boss said, "Do you think he'd be capable of getting a cup of tea?" I go, "Yeah, he would be. He'd be great."
But you do forget to do the same behaviour sometimes, yeah?
I wish it is.
Yes?
Yeah, I'd love that.
But do you forget about it sometimes? Do you?
As long as I'm not speaking to him or don't bump into him in work.
You can forget about
I
it.
can forget about it.
Okay, so I forget about things sometimes, and I just forget about them. I sometimes forget to put the trash out. I just forget about it. I just don't do it. Is that something you could do?
I would love to.
So what's, well, we don't really know, do we, what the first thing is that happens that makes you do it? It seems to be your boss talks to you and you feel a need to be completely honest with your boss and tell him everything you feel about this chap. There's nothing in particular. It's the first thing you hear is the boss asking you the question and you respond to this question as honestly as you can. Yes, that's how you kind of show up. Okay, so if I was to say to you, could you teach me how to do this? Could you do that?
I would do my best.
Okay, so what's the first thing I'd need to do then? So as soon as my boss shows up, I've just had a little run-in with this guy about an hour earlier. I'm not very happy with him. He's upset me yet again. I'm feeling that he's not very clever, very good. And my boss turns up. What's the first thing I do? Do I go, oh no, he's having a really good day. He's fine. Me and him are really cool. Is that what I do?
No.
Okay, so what do I do then? You tell me what I do.
You just have to tell the truth. tell my boss what he's really like.
Okay, so I'm going to tell a few white lies and I'm going to just say he's really great, he's fine, he's doing a really good job, and maybe hope that because I'm saying this he'll actually live up to those things, in which case everyone's happy and everyone's a winner. So is that how we go?
If you're any good at alchemy, yeah.
Okay, so what would I do next? What would be next? So when my boss goes, oh great, I'm really glad you guys are getting along, it all seems to be going very well here, I'm really glad I promoted this guy because he seems to be running the department really well. Would that be a good thing to say next?
If it was true, yeah, it'd be amazing. I'd love it to be true.
Okay, so because I'm looking out for me as well, I'm wanting my job to work well. Corporations don't seem to like the truth very much. Not really.
No.
They prefer people to smooth the path. And sometimes we have to say things that we don't necessarily believe. So I'm going to approach the situation saying, yeah, he's really cool. He's really cool. We get on really well. He's doing a very, very good job. He seems to be living up to the role very well. I think you made a great choice. Would that be a good thing to say to my boss? Yeah?
He would prefer that if you said that to him. Yes, because he doesn't like trouble.
Okay, so how am I doing at being you?
Really badly.
Really? Are you sure? Are you really sure?
He'd be getting out of the monitor and taking my temperature if I said that to him.
So the dynamics could change quite radically then.
Yeah.
And you could feel better about yourself, which would be really good. Because you wouldn't be talking too much, would you?
No.
So I'm going to turn up, I'm going to be really nice about him, I'm going to commend my boss for his fantastic choice of personnel and tell him he's done a great job, and you hope that, you know, he's going to do well from his choice going forward. Yeah. And you can only imagine that being great because he's doing his job so well and he's actually stepped up to the mark. Could that work?
I think he'd think I was being sarcastic.
But could it work? Do you want to have a look at it and see if it could work?
I'm definitely up to give it a go.
I think you should. I think it could work.
I think it'd have better fun.
Exactly, you could have fun with it, and wow, they'd all be so shocked that they'd just go, what's going on? And suddenly you'd be a much more interesting person than just the one laying it all out on the table, so they all know who you are and where you're coming from. Keep the mystery alive. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll definitely have a go at that.
Good, good. So, we know that might work. So, hold on a minute. What was the problem again anyway? What was it? Where were we?
I talk too much.
You talk too much. Okay. Okay. I hope next time you might give it a go and maybe try approaching it slightly differently. And maybe you'll find the more you do something different and the more different results you get, the more you'll enjoy them and the more you'll be able to do it.
So
Maybe.
I'm taking on the art of blagging then.
I wouldn't tell you to do that at all.
Yeah, I'll definitely have a go at that.
Okay, Carol. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Haley.
I hope it helps a little.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, let's stop the recording.